Shalom, I'm Rabbi David, and I'm about to reveal the one morning practice that transformed my life from struggling accountant to multi-millionaire. The same practice that every wealthy person I know does. The same practice that the Torah has been teaching for 3,000 years. The same practice that if you do it for just 10 minutes every morning will completely change the trajectory of your life. But here's the thing. Most people will hear this practice and dismiss it. They'll think it's too simple, too spiritual, too impractical. And they'll go back to their morning routine of hitting snooze, checking their phones, scrolling social media, reacting to emails, and starting their day in chaos. And they'll wonder why their life never changes, why wealth never comes, why success always feels just out of reach. But you're different. You're here. You're listening. And you're about to learn the secret that changes everything. The practice is this. Command your morning before the world commands you. Let me explain what that means and why it's the most powerful wealth-building practice you'll ever learn. When you wake up in the morning, there's a sacred window, a moment of power, a sliver of time when your mind is open, vulnerable, and impressionable. You haven't been touched by the chaos of the world yet. You haven't been pulled by demands or distractions. You haven't been told who you are or what you should do. In that moment, you have a choice. Will you command your thoughts, or will you be commanded by the world? Most people don't recognize this power. They wake up and immediately reach for their phone. They check emails. They scroll social media. They read the news. They fill their minds with other people's agendas, other people's problems, other people's crises. And before the sun has fully risen, they've already lost the inner battle. Their thoughts are no longer their own. They've been drafted into someone else's war. Not a word has been spoken aloud, yet their silence has already surrendered the day. But there are others, the rare ones, the intentional few, who treat the morning like the launch pad of destiny. They understand that leadership doesn't begin with applause or recognition. It begins in silence, behind closed doors, before anyone else is watching. It begins in the bedroom, not the boardroom, in thought, not in noise. These individuals command their minds. They rise with intention, not reaction. Instead of reaching for the world, they reach within. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. How to reach within, how to command your morning, how to set the foundation for wealth, success, and abundance. This is not theory. This is what I do. This is what every successful person I know does. This is ancient Torah wisdom combined with modern neuroscience. And it works. Not sometimes, every time, if you do it correctly. So let me give you the framework, the exact morning practice that will change your life. I call it the Sacred Morning Method, and it has 6 components. Each one is critical. Each one is powerful. Each one is rooted in Torah wisdom. S. Silence and stillness. A. Affirmations and declarations. C. Capture your thoughts, writing. R. Read something elevating. E. Exercise and movement. D. Declare gratitude. Let me break down each one and show you exactly how to do it. Component number 1. Silence and stillness. The first thing you do when you wake up is not check your phone, not turn on the news, not react to the world. the first thing you do is sit in silence. 5 minutes, that's all. Just 5 minutes of silence and stillness. In Psalm 46:10 it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is where you connect to the source. Stillness is where you hear the voice of wisdom. Stillness is where you remember who you are. In the noise of the world, you forget. You forget your purpose. You forget your power. You forget your identity. But in the stillness, you remember. So sit, breathe, be still. Don't meditate, don't visualize, don't do anything. Just be. This is not wasted time. This is the most productive 5 minutes of your day, because in this silence, you're resetting your consciousness, you're clearing the noise, you're creating space for clarity. Component number 2, affirmations and declarations. After 5 minutes of silence, you speak, but you don't speak to the world. You speak to yourself. You speak to your soul. You speak to your future. You declare who you are. You declare who you're becoming. You declare what you're creating. Not with doubt, but with faith. Not with fear, but with fire. In Genesis, God creates with words. Let there be light, and there was light. You're made in God's image, which means you also create with words. Your words shape your reality. Your declarations determine your destiny. So speak life into your future. Say, I am blessed and highly favored. I am a vessel for divine abundance. Wealth flows to me easily and naturally. I create value. I serve others. I build wealth. I am becoming the person God created me to be. Don't just say these words. Feel them. Mean them. Embody them. This is not positive thinking. This is identity creation. This is programming your subconscious. This is aligning your consciousness with abundance. The Talmud teaches words have power. They create worlds. So use your words to create the world you want to live in. Component number 3, capture your thoughts. Writing. After you declare, you write. You take pen to paper, and you capture what's in your mind. Ideas, goals, gratitude, fears, plans. Whatever is there, you write it down. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Writing creates vision. Writing brings clarity. Writing turns fog into form. Your mind is like a fire hose, uncontrolled, powerful, full of thoughts flooding in before you even realize you're awake. And if you don't capture them, they vanish. Ideas that are not written become ghosts. Goals that are not written become wishes. But when you write, you take back control. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop wandering and start walking. I write 3 things every morning. 1. 3 goals for the day. What must I accomplish today to move forward? 2. 3 things I'm grateful for. What abundance do I already have? 3. 1 insight or lesson. What did I learn yesterday? What is God teaching me? This takes 5 minutes, but it changes everything, because clarity is born in ink. Component number 4. Read something elevating. After you write, you read. But you don't read the news. You don't read social media. You don't read anything that drains your energy. You read something that elevates you, something that inspires you, something that reminds you of who you're becoming. For me, it's Torah, Proverbs, Psalms, ancient wisdom that has stood the test of time. For you, it might be something different, a book on business, a biography of someone you admire, a passage of scripture. It doesn't matter what you read. What matters is that you're filling your mind with wisdom instead of noise. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." Your heart is your mind, your consciousness, your thoughts. And the way you guard it is by controlling what goes into it. So read something elevating. 5 minutes, that's all. But those 5 minutes will shape your thinking for the entire day. Component number 5. Exercise and movement. After you read, you move. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to run a marathon. You just have to move your body. Walk, stretch, do push-ups, jump, dance, whatever gets your blood flowing. Because your physiology writes your psychology. When your body is slumped, your mind is defeated. When your body is energized, your mind is powerful. Motion creates emotion. If you want to feel different, you must move different. I do 10 minutes of movement every morning. Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's push-ups and stretches. Sometimes it's just jumping jacks. It doesn't matter what I do. What matters is that I move. Because movement wakes up the warrior. Movement activates energy. Movement creates momentum. And momentum is everything in wealth building. You can't build wealth from a place of stagnation. You build wealth from a place of motion. So move every morning without exception. Component number 6. Declare gratitude. The final component is gratitude. After you've done everything else, you close with gratitude. You thank God for what you have. You thank God for what's coming. You thank God for who you're becoming. Not fake gratitude, not forced gratitude, real gratitude, deep gratitude, the kind that shifts your entire being. In 1 Thessalonians 5:18, it says, "Give thanks in all circumstances." Not just when things are good, in all circumstances. Because gratitude is not about denying reality. It's about shifting focus. When you focus on what you have, you create more. When you focus on what you lack, you create more lack. Gratitude is your greatest leverage. It centers you. It grounds you. It reminds you that you're not starting from nothing. You're starting from abundance. And when you begin your day feeling full, the world cannot make you feel small. So say thank you, out loud, with feeling, with sincerity. Thank you, God, for my health. Thank you for my family. Thank you for the opportunities coming to me. Thank you for the abundance flowing through me. Thank you for making me a vessel of blessing. This takes 2 minutes, but it changes your entire energy, your entire frequency, your entire day. Now, let me tell you why this works, why this simple morning practice is the most powerful wealth-building tool you have. Because it does 3 things that are absolutely critical for creating wealth. First, it creates identity. Wealth is not about what you do, it's about who you are. You don't attract wealth by working harder. You attract wealth by becoming the kind of person who naturally creates and holds wealth. And this morning practice creates that identity. When you declare, when you write, when you move, when you express gratitude, you're telling yourself, I am a person of purpose. I am a person of power. I am a person of abundance. And when you tell yourself that every day, you become it. Second, it creates clarity. Most people fail, not because they're lazy, but because they're confused. They don't know what they want. They don't know where they're going. They don't have a clear vision. But this morning practice creates clarity. When you write your goals, when you read wisdom, when you sit in silence, you're clarifying your vision, you're sharpening your focus, you're defining your direction. And clarity is power. When you know where you're going, you get there faster. Third, it creates momentum. Wealth is built through momentum. Small actions, repeated consistently, compound over time. And this morning practice creates momentum. When you start your day with victory, when you do something hard first, when you move your body, you create energy, you create motion, you create momentum. And that momentum carries you through the day. It makes the hard things easier. It makes the impossible possible. Let me tell you 3 stories of people who implemented this morning practice and transformed their lives. Story number 1, Michael. Michael was a struggling entrepreneur. He had a business, but it was barely surviving. He was stressed, overwhelmed, constantly reacting to problems. I taught him this morning practice, and he committed to doing it every day for 30 days. The first week, nothing changed externally, but internally he felt different, calmer, clearer, more focused. The second week, he started making better decisions. He stopped reacting and started creating. He stopped chasing clients and started attracting them. The third week, his revenue increased, not dramatically, but noticeably. By the end of 30 days, his business had transformed. His revenue had doubled. His stress had halved. His clarity had multiplied. He told me, Rabbi, the morning practice didn't change my business. It changed me. And when I changed, my business changed. Story number 2, Sarah. Sarah was a corporate employee. Good salary, but no wealth. She was living paycheck to paycheck, stressed about money, feeling stuck. I taught her this morning practice, and she started doing it religiously. Within 2 months, she got a promotion, 30% raise. Within 4 months, she started a side business. Within 6 months, her side business was making more than her job. Within a year, she quit her job and went full-time on her business. And within 2 years, she was making 7 figures. She told me, Rabbi, the morning practice gave me clarity. I realized I was capable of more. I realized I deserved more. I realized I could create more. And once I realized that, everything changed. Story number 3. David. David was in massive debt, over $200,000. He was drowning, depressed, hopeless. I taught him this morning practice, and I told him, do this every day, no matter what. Even if you don't believe it will work, just do it. He did, every single day, for 6 months. And slowly, things started to shift. He got a better job. He negotiated his debt. He created a side income. He cut expenses. Within 1 year, he had paid off $100,000. Within 2 years, he was completely debt-free. Within 3 years, he had $150,000 in savings. She told me, Rabbi, the morning practice saved my life. It gave me hope. It gave me strength. It gave me the belief that I could overcome. And that belief changed everything. Do you see the pattern? The morning practice doesn't magically create wealth, but it creates the person who can create wealth. It creates clarity. It creates identity. It creates momentum. And those 3 things are the foundation of all wealth. So here's my challenge to you. Commit to this morning practice for 30 days. Every single day. No exceptions. No excuses. Even if you don't feel like it, even if you don't see immediate results, just do it. S. Silence. A. Affirmations. C. Capture thoughts in writing. La. Read something elevating. E. Exercise and movement. D. Declare gratitude. Total time 29 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. Less than 2% of your day. But those 29 minutes will determine the other 98%. They will set the tone. They will create the momentum. They will shape your identity. And after 30 days, come back and tell me what changed, what shifted, what appeared. Because I promise you, if you do this practice correctly, if you truly commit, something will change. Not because the practice is magic, but because you will become a different person. A person who commands their morning. A person who creates their day. A person who builds their wealth. In the comments below, tell me, will you commit to the sacred morning method for 30 days? And if this video gave you a framework for transforming your mornings and your life, subscribe to this channel. Next week, I'm going to teach you the evening practice that completes the cycle and multiplies your results. Remember, the way you begin is the way you become. Command your morning and watch your life transform. Shalom, and until next time. Both before you go, I need to address the objection I know you're thinking. Rabbi, I don't have 30 minutes in the morning. I'm too busy. I have kids. I have a job. I have responsibilities. I understand. I've heard this objection 1,000 times. And here's my response. You don't have time not to do this. Think about it. How much time do you waste every day scrolling social media, watching TV, reacting to other people's emergencies, putting out fires that wouldn't exist if you had clarity and direction? Most people waste hours every day, but they don't have 30 minutes for the practice that would eliminate that waste. That's not a time problem, that's a priority problem. And here's the truth. If you don't have 30 minutes for yourself in the morning, you don't own your life. Your life owns you. You're living in reaction. You're living in chaos. You're living at the mercy of everyone else's agenda. And that's no way to build wealth. That's no way to create success. That's no way to live. So make the time. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Cut out 30 minutes of TV or social media. Find the time. Because this is not optional. This is essential. The wealthiest people in the world all have morning routines. Not because they have more time, but because they understand that the morning is the foundation. And if the foundation is weak, everything else crumbles. So don't tell me you don't have time. Make the time. Protect the time. Guard the time. Because those 30 minutes are the most valuable 30 minutes of your day. They're worth more than any meeting, more than any email, more than any task. They're the difference between a life of reaction and a life of creation, between a life of chaos and a life of clarity, between a life of scarcity and a life of abundance. Now, let me give you one more piece of wisdom, one more key that will make this practice even more powerful. Do it in the same place, at the same time, every single day. Consistency creates power. Repetition creates transformation. Routine